This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. As the days get shorter and colder, it can really take a toll on how we feel. Maybe that means calling your grandma, writing a letter to your friend, finally grabbing lunch with someone you haven't seen in a while. And just like reaching out to a friend, starting therapy can take a bit of courage. BetterHelp makes it easy to start therapy. You'll be matched with a licensed therapist based on your needs and preferences so you can focus on your growth and goals. Not happy with your match? You can switch therapists anytime with no hassle. This month, don't wait to reach out, whether that's checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself. BetterHelp makes it easier to take that first step. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PFF. That's betterhelp.com/PFF.
Okay, next game, Saints and the Panthers. Saints go into Bank of America Stadium, take down the Panthers here, 17-7 final score. Top 5 graded players that we had for the New Orleans Saints. Linebacker Demario Davis with a 91.3 and an interception in this game. His running mate, fellow linebacker Pete Warner, next on the list with an 84.2. Wide receiver Chris Olave, still on the team, 78.7. Tight end Juwan Johnson with a 76.4. Cornerback Alante Taylor, still on the team, 74.3. And Tyler Shough, really nice day from Tyler Shough. It wasn't the perfect day, but he did what he needed to do to go in, get a win on the road, which is good to see. 76.8 overall, great. On the flip side, Carolina, linebacker Claude Cherlis with an 84.3. He was their top-graded player. Cornerback Mike Jackson, a 75.0. Edge rusher Nick Scorton, a 72.3. Safety Nick Scott, a 71.3. Linebacker Christian Roseboom, a 71.0. And then Bryce Young in this game, 36.3. Not good.
Nope.
I want to start with my stat that told the story here because it has to do with Bryce Young. My stat that told the story is the Panthers passing in losses and just sort of the Panthers overall this season when it's not looking well. Bryce Young had a 31.3 passing grade this week. So he had a 36.3 overall grade, 34.3 passing grade. He had 0 big-time throws, and he had 2 turnover-worthy plays. But I think the Bryce Young issue goes much deeper than just this past week. Bryce Young has not thrown a big-time throw in 3 games. He had 5 against the Dolphins when they played earlier this year. And he has 5 all year outside of just that Dolphins game. So when you look at Bryce Young, it's the absence of big-time throws that is really glaring in his resume. He has a couple of games with 1. He has, I think he has 3 games with 1 big-time throw, 1 game with 2 big-time throws. He then has the 1 game with 5 against the Dolphins. But again, if you take out that massive outlier of a game, it's mostly 1 game with 2, and a lot of zeros. In the last 3 weeks, I know that he has been hurt. He's been playing through injury even the last couple of weeks. But 0 big-time throws is going to make it tough for you to win. The Panthers now have as many games under 176 total passing yards as they do over. So they have played 5 games this season, and they have as many games where they have thrown for less than 176 passing yards. I'm not talking 215, I'm not talking 220, I'm not talking 200. Less than 176 passing yards. They have 3 games, Dalton, with less than 126 passing yards. It's not going to win you football games. And I think that's the big issue here. When Rico Dowdle's running the football really well, this Panthers offense is fun to watch. It's great, it's balanced, and a lot of times they can do enough. When the Panthers' run game is not performing well, which, hold on, let me pull up the numbers here. This week, Rico Dowdle had 18 carries for 53 yards. That's a 2.9 yards per carry average. That's not even 4. It's not 3.5. It's less than 3. 2.9 yards per carry average. Shough Hubbard's a little bit better. 3 attempts, 14 yards, but he only got 3 attempts in this game. So overall, they just were not able to run the football the way they need to, the way they have been when they have been winning football games. And the fact of the matter is, we talk about this for a lot of teams, right? We talked about it for the Bills. We talked about it for the Miami Dolphins. And there are teams that if they are not running the football well, we don't like their chance to win football games. I probably like Carolina's chances the least of any team in the NFL if they're not running the football well. Because Bryce Young just has not shown that he is that type of quarterback to be able to do it. And the lack of big-time throws is a big reason why. Outside of Tetro and McMillan, where are the big-time throws coming from? You could throw up a prayer to Xavier Legette, but in my opinion, at that point, that's all it is. It's just a prayer. You don't know if the ball's going to get there when it needs to from Bryce's side of things, and you don't know if Xavier Legette's going to come down with it. Jatavian Sanders has not turned into that consistent deep threat that they have wanted him to as a vertical receiver in the tight end passing game. Jalen Coker, I think, is good and reliable, but he's an underneath type of receiver. They do not have a player who can stretch the field for them, and I don't think they have the quarterback who confidently attacks beyond 20 yards down the field. And so that to me is that stat that told the story, is that of all the teams in the NFL, if the Carolina Panthers are not running the football well, they are the team that I trust the least to get a win.
I'll probably throw the Jets in that mix too, just because they're completely incapable.
That's true too. Probably the Jets. I was thinking more of teams that weren't the Jets, but you bring up a good point with the Jets.
Teams that weren't the Jets. You can't just exclude them from the 32 now. It's not 31, and then the Jets are just the placeholder.
Sometimes I try to forget about the offense that the Jets are trying to play.
You're telling me. Anyway, what I see from this offense, I'm going to start with this game and then expand out from there. The MVP of this game to me is actually Brandon Staley, and there have been a lot of moments where the Saints defense has played relatively well. Brandon Staley came out with a plan early in this game and just said, yeah, you're not going to run the football the way you have on some other teams. We're putting 5 down on the line. We're loading 8 in the box. You're just not. You're not going to do it. You just mentioned those rushing numbers. The Panthers, look, I've said the two X factors in the Panthers are quarterback play and run defense, right? But they've been running the ball so well that they can kind of hide the quarterback play. Brandon Staley came out. They loaded the box in neutral situations on early downs, and then he came out blitzing like crazy as well. That's a big thing, too. When they did get into obvious pass, he was not going to give Bryce enough time to mess around back there. He was going to make him get to the top of his drop and make a decision. Bryce Young was blitzed on 14 out of 30 dropbacks in this game. Brandon Staley, not always known as a heavy blitzing type of defensive coach, but he did it in this game. He loaded the box. He decided, you know what, we're not waiting for this team. With all their tight ends and these Rico Dowdle running the way that he's running, we're not going to wait for this team to run us over and sit back and just fill gaps. No, we're not doing that. 5 down, Demario Davis and Pete Werner, because there were 5 down, they were getting more free space to work with at the second level and make those tackles. And then when it was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, they stopped the run on early downs. They were blitzing. They were rushing Bryce Young. They were not letting him extend outside the pocket.
Yeah,
they were going, you know what? You got to decipher. And just enough times mixed in with all those blitz packages were some simulated things where they were dropping guys off and confusing Bryce with some zone mixed in then. So I thought Brandon Staley called an outstanding game in this one. A plan on early downs to be aggressive with the fronts, a plan on later downs to be aggressive and mess with Bryce's eyes and force him to rush into throwing the football. I thought he was outstanding. My most impressive guy on the field, Demario Davis, just ageless. It just does it every week. It's still just unbelievable. How 7 tackles, 3 stops, an interception that was negated by, I believe, a roughing the passer. Just unbelievable stuff.
Was that his interception over the middle of the field?
Yeah.
Because I remember watching that play because I was going through all the Bryce Young snaps, and I didn't realize that one was one that was called back. That play is very interesting because it's both. Well, it looks like it's a dagger concept, right? It looks like Jatavian Sanders is sort of running the vertical clear out route, and then I can't remember who the 2 is that's coming over with the dig route over the middle of the field. Bryce throws it, and I think on the surface level, it's just a really bad throw from Bryce because it's almost like he's trying to hit Jatavian Sanders, and he's not trying to hit, because if he's trying to hit the dig route over the middle, he times it terribly, it's terrible accuracy, and it wasn't going to work anyways. But Davis bumps Sanders at the perfect time to where he knocks him off of his route, turns his head around, and immediately the ball is right there. It's like he knew exactly what was going on and exactly where the ball was going to be, and he just turned around and that was an incredible play by him. So there were those 2 factors going on where, 1, it looked like an incredible play from Demario Davis, and 2, it looked like that looked like a really bad interception from Bryce.
I'm looking at it here. It's another case, too, where Staley deserves the credit here because he sends the slot inside. I can't see who this is. If it was Alante, no, it's somebody else in the slot over Sanders there. But he sends him. Davis is lined up in the opposite A gap.
Yeah, and he drops.
All the way out, knowing he's got man-to-man.
And he Tampa drops.
It's cover one.
Right, and there's middle of the field.
Knowing that
he's
got to turn and dead sprint to the inside hip of Sanders, and Young just kind of assumes because the free rusher came from over number 3 there, over Sanders, that he had him. Boom, he's got him hot and he's got him, and he just never saw Davis coming.
But even then, like, where's the safety? Because isn't the safety right there too?
Middle of the field, yeah. He's over the top on it. I mean, even if Bryce was going to make this throw and Davis didn't get there so quickly, he's threading the needle. It's all or nothing because the safety was single-handed. But he didn't have time to with the free rusher. They didn't pick up the free rusher at all on the blitz. So, I mean, it was a great call from Staley to just confuse everything about the protection and Bryce for that matter. But I think to your point, I think that's the thing too, is that Brandon Staley, again, he did this all game. When it was obvious pass, and this was the case where when it was 3rd and 9 in this game, he was coming. And you didn't know which direction he was coming from. And I think just the combination of all of that, unfortunate for the Saints on that one, they got the roughing the passer. But I think that one play even shows you just the type of game that Brandon Staley called in the passing game. Just unbelievable stuff there, too.
I think that Tyler Shough, it wasn't a perfect game for him, but it was a really nice game. Like, these are the kind of games that you want to see, especially with him getting his first couple of starts here. 19 for 27, 282 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had the deep throw to Chris Olave. He had another deep throw to Juwan Johnson. Like, that is now Spencer Rattler had some of these as well. I'm not going to say like that was totally what was missing from the Saints offense, but more of that and just being more consistent with how aggressive it feels like they want to be throwing the ball deep down the field. And Tyler Shough, I think, has the arm to be able to do it. So it was nice to see him complete those passes. I mean, the Chris Olave one is interesting. I'm not taking anything away from Tyler Shough, but Chris Olave is not open when he throws him this football. That was the play that J.C. Horn had him step for step, and Chris Olave just gave him a little bump, and then J.C. Horn kind of like falls down, and it's obviously a catch that's uncontested, and Chris Olave gets to the end zone. So some savvy OPI work, but I thought the Juwan Johnson throw was a good one as well. So it's those deep shots though that the Saints want to have in their offense with regularity week in and week out. And it was nice to see Tyler Shough execute on those. Even if it's a situation like that, physically getting the ball where he needs to on time, in stride, that's still something that you can give Tyler Shough credit.
And those throws deep down the sideline, those were his best throws always in college. I thought the go balls down the sideline, give your guy a chance. How is this? You're right, though. How is this not an OPI?
It should have been an OPI.
I just checked the end zone on it for the first time.
It should have been OPI.
I'm like, that's boy. But you know what? Those are Shough. Those are his best balls when he's clean in the pocket. And I thought his pocket movement in this game was really good as well when he had to improvise a little bit. But those balls down the sideline. And look, if that's the type of passer Kellen Moore wants, think about last year with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Where were most of Jalen Hurts' best throws?
Just deep to the sideline.
Outside the numbers, single coverage, let it fly. Yep. Right. So sometimes you just give a good player a chance, and maybe you get away with one, and that's what happens too.
Anything else here?
Nope.
Before we move on to the next one?
Nope.